When you talk about price, how do the conversations usually go? And most of the feedback that I get is, well, it doesn't go very well. I say, well, why? Well, they don't really want to talk about it. They talk about service issues. They talk about, what our competitors doing. They talk about the market in general. And one of the things I always ask is your customer asking his or her customer for price increases? And they say, well, sometimes they know and sometimes they don't, but usually they are. And when you think about what a price increase is and why you should be getting it, it's really about, again, perceived value. And what is that value? And if your sales folks and your marketing folks are not equipped to understand what the perceived value is of the products, what are the key differentiators, why is your product worth a premium if in fact you are charging a premium for it, if they don't know that and can't have that discussion with the customer and the customer doesn't agree to that, then getting a price premium or getting price increases is going to be fairly difficult. But relationships with customers are long-term relationships. And companies that are going to be in the game need to be economically viable. So if you're a customer and you're dealing with a vendor who every year lowers their price, well, in the back of my mind, I might not say this to the salesperson, but I'm sure they're going to wonder, how do you stay in business? I mean, you must be lowering, I'm assuming you're lowering your costs. Probably not. But it's a dual relationship so that the customer wants a competitive price. They want something that's on par with what they feel the value is. But the company needs to be economically viable in the long term. And there needs to be a value plane. There needs to be what I call a sweet spot in pricing. So you need to find out there's not one perfect price, but for each product there's a range of price, and you need to get within that range. And if you can't do that, then pricing is definitely going to struggle. And it's just so important. And what I've learned over the years of doing this, and really one of the prime reasons I wrote the book that I wrote, is that theory is terrific. Data is a very solid foundation. It's a common language to have a conversation with sales, marketing, your executive leadership. But if you can't take that data and then change behavior and start to help change the culture, it's going to be a one-time hit. It's not going to be effective. So solid revenue and profit gains can result. And every company is going to be a bit different. Economic times are going to be different. But what I've seen in a lot of the customers that we've worked with annually, you can see anywhere from maybe 2 to 5%. That all drops to the bottom line. In some companies it's less, a little bit less, some companies a little bit more. And the first year out, you're going to see a lot of what I call low-hanging fruit, a lot of the cleanup opportunities. But it's definitely there. It takes time. You've got to define how much time that it takes. A pricing program shouldn't go on for years and years and years, and no one quite feels that it ever worked. It needs to have a defined time frame, and then it's firmly embedded in the company, and then every year you measure what you get from pricing. It takes strong leadership from the pricing team. I believe every company needs a pricing champion, a pricing leader. It's not a function that's going to happen haphazardly. It's not a function that's going to happen if it's just split among different people. Someone's got to be on task for pulling together all of the issues relating to price and executing that strategy. But it's well worth the efforts. And implementing value-based pricing is something that companies can't be without.